comparing numbers through 9,999. How can we tell which number is greater? We're going to use place value to help us do this. The very first thing that we need to do is to label our numbers with our HTO chart. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing over here. And then I'm going to think about the places that all of my numbers are in. When I compare my hundreds place, I have a 7 in the hundreds place in this number and a 7 in my hundreds place in this number. That doesn't help me, so therefore I have to go to my tens place. In this number I have 6 tens, while in this number I have 5 tens. Well, right there is where I can make my comparison, because those two numbers are different. So I'm looking for the place that has different numbers. 6 tens is greater than 5 tens. So therefore, the sign that we need to write in the middle is the greater than sign. So the way that I remember that is like this. If this number is the greater number, I'm going to put 2 dots on this side. And if this number is my smaller number, I put 1 dot over here. Then I simply connect, and now I have a greater than sign. So the way I read this is 763 is greater than 752. Another trick that you might use when you're comparing numbers is to take your two numbers and stack them on top of each other like this. 763 and 752. That way you can see your places very easily. So when I compare my hundreds place, I can see that both of these numbers are 7, so that doesn't help me. But when I move to my tens place, now I have two numbers that are different. So right here, I can still tell that 6 tens is greater than 5 tens. So therefore, I still have that greater than sign right there. There are many different ways that we can write this expression. First of all, we can say that 763 is greater than 752. But then we can write that in many different ways. Now over here to the right, you can see many different ways that you can write the same expression. 763 is greater than 752. You can write it out in words. Or you can turn it around backwards and say that 752 is less than 763. Another way that you can do this is right here. 7 hundreds, 6 tens, and 3 ones is greater than 7 hundreds, 5 tens, and 2 ones. And of course, this one here, 752 is less than 763, is like this one right here. You might see this expression written in any one of these 4 different ways, so it's important that you know how you can write it in different ways. Okay, the next problem wants to know how we can tell which number is greater using place value. Okay, I'm going to use the stacking method down here at the bottom. So I stack my two numbers, 2,419 over 2,434. Now I simply have to compare my places. So I'm going to look right here at my thousands place. This doesn't help me because my numbers are the same. I have 2,000s and I have 2,000s. So I'm going to move over here to my hundreds place. In the top number I have 400s, and the bottom number I have 400s. That doesn't help me. So I move over here to my tens place. Here I have 1 10, and here I have 3 tens. Right here is the place where I can make my comparison because my numbers are different. So therefore, 1 10 is less than 3 tens, so this number is my smaller number. So up here in my circle, I'm going to put 1 dot over here by my smaller number and 2 dots over here by my larger number and connect them. And then I have 2,419 is less than 2,434. Okay, now I want to know how many different ways we can write this expression. So of course we've got our less than sign here in the center, so we can say that 2,419 is less than 2,434. Remember, you read it from left to right. The small side on the left tells you less than. Another thing we can do is flip-flop our numbers and say that 2,434 is greater than 2,419. Or we can write it out in words. 2 thousands, 4 hundreds, 3 tens, and 4 ones is greater than 2 thousands, 4 hundreds, 1 10, and 9 ones. Or we can flip-flop our numbers around and read this right here. 2 thousands, 4 hundreds, 1 10, and 9 ones is less than 2 thousands, 4 hundreds, 3 tens, and 4 ones. Okay, on this problem, we've got the circle in the center, so we're comparing the numbers. We want to write less than, greater than, or equal to in the circle. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is stack my numbers. If you stack your numbers, you can already tell which place you're going to look at to make your comparison. My thousands place, I have a 5 for both numbers, so I can't use that place. So therefore, I'm going to go over here to my hundreds place. In my hundreds place, I have 600s and 100. So right here is where I'm going to compare my numbers. 600s is larger than 100. So therefore, I'm going to put 2 dots on this side for my large number, 1 dot on this side for my small number, and I'm going to connect it this way. So there I have my greater than sign. 5,678 is greater than 5,199. So now you need to write this expression in 2 different ways. So pick a font we can read. So we could say 5,199 is less than 5,678. Okay, we can also say that 5,000, 600, 7 tens, and 8 ones is greater than 5,000, 100, 9 tens, and 9 ones. And now I've written this expression in 2 different ways. Remove that word right there. When you're asked to compare 2 numbers, please make sure that you're using the strategies that I show you. If not, you could make mistakes along the way. So the first thing we're going to do is to look over here at our hundreds place. I have an 8 in the hundreds place in both numbers. That doesn't help me. So therefore, I have to move over to my tens place. In my tens place, I have 9 tens and 1 10. That means that right here is where I'm going to make my comparison. The tens place helps me. 9 tens is larger than 1 10. So therefore, the alligator eats the big number. Always remember that. Connect my dots. So now, I can say that 891 is greater than 819. I can write this a couple of different ways. I can say that 891 is greater than 819. I could also say that 819 is less than 891. I could also say that 819 is less than 891. Now you try it on this problem. Which place do you use to determine which number is the largest or the smallest? If you said the hundreds place, you're exactly right. So in this problem, you have 7 in the thousands place on both numbers. But in the hundreds place, You have 0 hundredths, and here you have 100. So that means that 0 hundredths is less than 100. So the alligator eats the big number, and this is your larger number. Don't forget on your paper, you should be stacking your numbers to show your work. I skipped that part because I wanted to see if you remembered to do it. I didn't skip it, I just saved it for the end. So therefore, just like we said, your hundredths place helps you determine that 7,021 is less than 7,119. If you need to, review this lesson one more time.